This is the Luba 2. It's been mowing my garden for over a year. I'm still extremely satisfied with it. Today, I'm presenting the Luba 2X, an improved version, said to be more powerful, smarter, and capable of adapting to all types of terrain. Can it really replace a real gas mower? I really pushed it to the limit on steep slopes, very tall grass, a super difficult terrain, and honestly, I thought it was unstoppable. I completely made it fail. It's the first time I've seen a four-wheel drive robot struggle like that. I'll tell you its real strengths and weaknesses. And of course, I'll save my honest opinion after several weeks of use for the end of the video. We'll see how the Luba 2X is designed. We have the Luba 2 3000 for areas up to 3,600 square meters, and the Luba 2 5000 for areas up to 6,000 square meters max. Here we find a bumper. It will allow the robot to detect objects. At the front of the robot, we find small shock absorbers. That allows the robot to adapt in different gardens. It's a four-wheel drive robotic mower that can go on slopes up to 80%. That's 38 degrees. The advantage is this technology at the front, which allows the robot not to rip up the grass. It will simply glide over it. The front camera module has night lighting. Where Mammotion really made a great effort is with the protections to avoid scratching the robot. The rain sensor and the buttons allow you to control it from above. And here, don't forget to insert the safety key. Without it, the robot won't work. We didn't mention the rear wheels, which are notched, a bit rubbery so the robot can adapt to slopes. We have a nice improvement compared to the old version. Here, there's much more space between the deck, the blades, and the side protection. The cutting width is 40 centimeters. We find two decks with 6 blades. The battery is 12 amp hours and is located inside the robot mower. I'll show you the installation of the Luba 2X in this garden. We already have a large section here with slope. Most robotic mowers I've tested had trouble passing through. Here, we're already at 26 degrees. Also, it's a 2,000 square meter garden. Interesting part, this embankment. It's between 35 and 38 degrees. Perfect for the robot. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it performs on this embankment because so far, none of the robots I've tested have managed to mow here. Let's go quickly over the unboxing. We have a very complete installation guide. What I like about Mammotion is that everything is very well organized. We have all the accessories included. The power cable, various accessories like blades, the front bumper which we will attach. And here is the beast. It's really solid. The handles are on the sides and that's where you can see everything is well protected. Once you've taken out all the accessories, there are a few small assemblies to do before you can program the robot. We have the small camera module to screw in here, the bumper to attach right here. We just connect the small cables and the screws are already included. Once it's clipped in, don't forget to put the small screws here. We'll install the parking base. For that, screws are provided to fix it into the ground. And actually, the base can be placed either in the mowing zone or, for example, on a terrace a bit further away. Nothing complicated, we just screw in the provided screws. Small note, the parking base must be on a flat surface. We also have a very long charger. We'll run the cable inside. We'll be able to install it right here. We have a dedicated slot, and we're not required to install it, because now we either have the 4G positioning mode with Inavi or with the RTK antenna. I'll come back to that later in the video. That's it, the antenna is well connected. The small light has come on, and I didn't mention it. If you want to place the antenna in the attic, it's possible because we have a dedicated charger just for the RTK antenna. Never place the antenna directly against the wall or under a tree. The sky must always be clear. We even have a 10-meter long cable if you want to extend the antenna. If we forget to connect it, it will have trouble picking up the signal. We'll now map the garden. It's a step we do only once. The goal is to outline the entire garden. We add a robot. It's already detected. There's the RTK antenna. It asks for the network. This will be for the updates. Ideally, the parking base should receive Wi-Fi. And if you can't, you can share your phone's connection just for the first update. Hop, update. The robot update is done. I took the opportunity to install the protective cover offered by Mammotion. Super quick to install, light, and it will protect the robot well. For mapping, you just need your phone's Bluetooth. We'll start by mapping the first mowing zone. What's super convenient with Mammotion robots is that you can adjust the robot's moving speed. If you want it to move slowly and be precise, that's possible. And you can also tell it to move much faster. For example, if you have a straight line, you position the robot around your mowing area. We can choose between two mapping modes. The first method is manual mode. We outline the garden ourselves. Or we have automatic mapping mode. The robot will detect the mowing areas, even if it's not super precise. Let's go. On the edges and borders, I recommend leaving at least 5 centimeters between the edge and the robot to allow a small margin of error. This is where it will be interesting to see how the robot handles very tall grass. I don't know if it will manage. And in this section, I really hope the robot won't disappoint us, because it's the steepest part of the garden. Here, since the grass is tall, it may struggle. Honestly, I'm not sure it will manage because it's very dry, so it slips. It's so dry, way too dry. Where there's no grass, it kind of manages to climb, but barely. This section is the most complex in the garden. Will the Luba succeed here? And we return to the starting point. We can now save the map, and we have the first map created. We'll also create areas where the robot doesn't have access, notably around the little mushrooms. It's super simple. We press Create Forbidden Zone. And on the map, it's the orange area you see. That's the part where the robot won't go. We can create up to 30 mowing zone. Now we'll make the second zone just here. And in this part on the edge, we'll mow as close as possible. It'll allow us to see how many centimeters are left unmowed, whether we need to trim the edges or not. We press Create Corridor. In this area, the robot will only pass from one zone to another. Let's launch the first mowing session together. I'm really excited to see how it handles very tall grass, because over there, the edges haven't been done for at least 2 or 3 months. And you see, it will pass exactly where we told it to. It's accurate within 2 to 3 centimeters. For now, I won't lie, it's just warming up. There's not much to mow. But over there, it's going to be fun. Oh wow, the power. Wow, it's really clean. In any case, if you follow behind it, it really cuts. We're reaching one of the best moments of this video. It's the embankment. So I think it will struggle. I'm not sure it'll manage. For now, it's okay. It's actually quite impressive. It's starting to slip a bit at the back, but it's managing. It's slipping at the back. It manages to climb, but barely. Now all 4 wheels are slipping. That's it, it can't climb any further. This part is at 38 to 39 degrees. It will still try to do its best. Yeah, this is really tough. It won't make it. We're at 36 degrees. And what's good is that it won't stop halfway up the slope. It'll try to get out and mow as much as possible. The problem is, the soil is too dry, so it slips, and there's not enough grass in this slope. I don't know if you can imagine. It's an extremely steep slope. You know me. I don't like staying on a failure, especially since I know this robotic mower is really capable of climbing 38-degree slopes. So I'll do a quick test on a slope, and this time with grass. Also, I'm 200 or even 300 meters in a straight line from the RTK antenna, and we'll see if it gets a signal. Knowing there's a big linden tree right next to the area, which might cause interference. We have the 2,000 square meter garden right here, and the robot is currently stuck right there. The positioning for now looks good. He slows down, of course, going downhill. All right, here we go. Now he'll need to be good. Now I'm pleased. He skids a little, but he makes it. He manages. He just passed right here, and the phone says 37 degrees. The slope is a bit steep. I won't lie, it's really satisfying to see him climbing the embankment. The slope is at 35 degrees. Look a bit, he has mowed almost everywhere, and we still see the robot's precision on the edges. And we can easily make him go over the terrace if the terrace is roughly at the same level as the lawn. We're getting to an interesting part of this video. It's the slope live. Okay, for now, it's going fine. He's rubbing me a little there. All right, friends, we're going to let him work. For now, he's doing a good job. And there, the sage, he's taking it and cutting it. He's going at the fastest speed. Actually, we have several detection modes. We can simply deactivate the detection that he'll do with his bumper. Already, he'll slow down in front of the object. Then we have the standard mode. The robot will avoid objects thanks to its front camera. And we still have a superior mode, the sensitive mode. This one will really be useful if you have pets, for example. And we'll be able to remotely adjust the cutting height and tell him to go faster or slower. For example here, activity speed, 0.2 meters per second. That'll be good if you have a lot of grass at home. On this part of the garden, it's completely burned out. And we can adjust the moving speed up to 0.6 meters per second, and that will go much faster. For an area like this with a lot of stalks, that's more than enough. We'll test object detection live. We'll start the test with a soccer ball, then the handball, and we'll finish with the tennis ball. Already, he slowed down. It's not too much of a problem for him in general. He'll avoid it easily. He simply goes around the object. Same, he saw it, he's going to go around. Where he might struggle a bit more is the tennis ball. And I've planned worse than that. The small t-shirt. Tennis ball. No, missed. Yeah, let's see if there was any damage. So, he didn't see it. He didn't damage the deck. The advantage of these blades is that when they hit an object, they will actually retract, fold back. Come on, react, my guy. Oh no, oh damn, he's stuck. Afterwards, I think he didn't have time to see it, especially since he's going at ultra-fast speed. I've put him at a slightly slower speed. Normally, he should have the time. There, he had the time to see the object properly. It's interesting to be transparent. As soon as there are failures, they must be shown. Now we'll test night detection. I've taken a rock the size of a hand. It resembles the size of a hedgehog. He will detect the object and go around it. And one thing to consider when choosing a robotic mower is the noise, so it doesn't bother the neighbors, and so it doesn't annoy you when you're in your garden or at home. I'll stand next to it with the mic and you'll see it's not that loud. Here, I'm really right next to it.
Bon, là je suis vraiment pile à côté.
We see the robot's map live as it's mowing. All the lines you see are where the robot will go. That means right now it's mowing in this direction, and then it will cross the mowing. Honestly, for now, the result is fine. Having lines like that, not all robots do that, honestly. We see the hole. Hop, the holes actually don't bother it. Even if you have small twigs like this, it's not too much of a problem. It'll just make a bit of noise. The Luba 2 has nearly finished mowing. We're going to check it out together. It's at the back of the garden. The grass was rather tall. It made lines in this direction, and also in this one. It makes a grid, and it's really super pretty, super clean. It's really beautiful. There's nothing to say. The lines are really well drawn. Not all robots produce such clean quality. And considering how tall the grass was, there isn't a single blade sticking out. Around the trees, it left about 20 centimeters. There, it will detect with the bumper, which will allow it to get closer. The robot has free 4G until the end of the year. The 4G allows us to have the video feedback. Now the robot has just gone below 15%, so it's going to recharge automatically. You have a choice between two positioning modes. Either the positioning mode with the robot's 4G, free the first year until the end of 2025, then €50 per year, or, if you don't want a subscription, you can use the RTK antenna, which will work perfectly if you have a clear sky. Here is the robot recharging live. Charging started. I'll point out, the robot can work fine in the garden without Wi-Fi and without 4G. The advantage of 4G is that we can see it working remotely. It passed well around the forbidden zone. And for example, if you want to mow manually with the robot, it's possible. I'll show you that live. For that, you need to be connected via Bluetooth to the robot. You press manual mowing, and now you can tell it to move, to go to places it hasn't been. That, you can do manually with the phone. In this garden, there are quite a few holes, especially here. It's a spot where one of the drive wheels had gotten stuck. It's not a problem for it. For difficult gardens, and in this huge hole, it's the same. The robot passes just fine, even though the hole is very deep. That's where you see the work of the front shock absorbers. If I back into the hole, hop, there I am in the hole. Let's look at the app together. Is it intuitive? Is it hard to use? You'll arrive on the robot. We click on it, and there you'll have the map of your garden. We see the station with the RTK antenna right next to it, and we see the battery level, with a bunch of icons like we saw earlier. We made 2 zones, and they're connected by a small corridor, a passage. To adjust the mowing settings, it's not complicated. We press Mow. It'll ask us which zone we want to mow. We press Confirm. We can set the cutting height from 25 millimeters up to 7 centimeters, and automatically, we can do it only via the app. Something good as well, we can set the moving speed. We also have the trajectory spacing. That's if you want the robot to slightly overlap on the area that was previously mowed. We can also adjust the cutting angle, customize it if you want, or set it to random, if you want the robot to never go to the same place. That's where it gets interesting. We have several mowing trajectory modes. The first mode will be border tour. The second mode will be zigzag mode. The robot will go back and forth. The third mode, grid mode. And now we have a new mowing mode, adaptive zigzag mowing. This mowing will help reduce time loss. We also have perimeter mowing rounds. How many times you want the robot to go around the zone. And the obstacle detection mode like we saw earlier. We're going to press on program. Either you can make it mow, for example, on this day at that time, or you can tell it to mow at a fixed interval, that is, every 2 days, every 3 days. And you tell it at what time you want it to start mowing, and we will have the scheduling planned. If you don't want it to mow at night, it's possible. You have to go here in the settings, no mowing period, modify, and tell it not to mow. You can also tell it to mow or not to mow on rainy days. And on the map, you can have fun making patterns. I would have liked to write follow me, but it won't work. We'll test with a football, with the drone. We'll see a bit what it looks like. So, unfortunately, the grass is still quite dry. If it had been in spring, it would have been prettier. Because now, we don't see it that much. We already see the lines quite well with the drone. It gives a very nice look. And as I mentioned earlier, you can adjust the robot right here. We're going to quickly test the Luba 2X in a difficult garden, and then we'll do it in very tall grass. Actually, the only limitation will be if you have a ledge like here. The bumper, in fact, can press on it. You'll quickly understand that a small bump is no problem for it. There's really no problem for it. And sometimes the grass in spring is a bit tall. Well, it's not that tall, but it's interesting to have powerful motors. We're going to tell it to go straight. Oh wow, but look at that. It's folding the grass in front of me. Well, that's the bumper that hit. Otherwise, it's impressive. Do not reproduce this. It's just for the test. A quick comparison to show you the improvements on the new Luba. So already we have the small front lighting that wasn't available on the old version. A nice improvement on the edge protection. And now we have 6 blades, compared to before when there were only 4. And as I told you, we have much more spacing here compared to the old version. And if you have a path with gravel to cross, it will not be a problem for it. It manages very well to turn in gravel or move forward. In this part, it's mowing very close, and in the end, it will leave 5 to 10 centimeters of unmowed grass. It will barely be noticeable. Let's look together at the strengths and weaknesses of the Luba 2X after several weeks of use. You've surely seen my video on the old generation LUA2. And as I told you, it's been more than a year that it's installed in my garden. I have enough hindsight today to say that this robot is really excellent. You saw it throughout this video. The strong points. First, it will be adapted to all types of terrain. Ultra-difficult gardens with slopes, bumps up to 38 degrees. It can mow surfaces up to 6,000 square meters. Here we have a 2,000 square meter garden, and it's still quite quick to mow. It will also be precise at the edges. We will have the choice between RTK mode and 4G mode. I said it several times in the video, the mowing quality. You see behind me, we see the lines, it's really ultra clean. The practical thing also is that we can make it mow at night. I know it's not highly recommended because there's a lot of biodiversity at night. If you have a large surface, it can be practical because you might go a bit over, make it mow until 9 p.m., for example, and it will allow it to detect objects. It is also quite silent for such a powerful robot. Right now, I'm next to it. It doesn't bother me. To be able to film, the motors are 165 watts. That's already quite a lot. Very practical, especially in spring for the first cut. Sometimes thicker, taller, because we do it a bit late because it's wet, etc. However, be careful. It makes the motors heat up. It is also guaranteed 3 years by Mammotion, with after-sales service that seems to have improved. Mammotion makes the effort to do regular updates to improve the app. Even if you buy it today, there will still be future improvements, like for example on the mowing mode. The installation and programming, it's really very, very simple. Well, at least for me, on Mammotion robots, I find it well done, and it's still quite quick, even to program a 2,000 square meter garden. It will be one of the robots that cuts closest to the edges. It will leave around 10 centimeters if you shave at the maximum. There is a mini version of this robotic mower. That one will still go much further because it has only 1 blade deck, and it will still be fast enough to mow up to 1,200 square meters per charge. And of course, the big strong point is that we can program it. We can tell it to mow every 3 to 4 days, every week in summer, for example. And then you don't need to touch it anymore. Just enjoy the lawn and, of course, do the edges from time to time. And you can get 50 euros off, which is always good to take. The link is in the video description if ever you want to know more or order it. Now we'll move on to the disadvantages of this robot. First, maybe accessing the battery. Unfortunately, it's a bit complex compared to the Luba Mini. You'll have to disassemble the robot. It's a bit more complex to change it, but it's not impossible. When it rains, the robot, you can tell it to return to the charging station. You'll have to send it back manually, either through the app or directly on the robot. It won't start mowing again directly. It would be nice to change that in the app. There's also something unfortunate. For example, in this garden, we have this whole lower part that is still quite green, but we have a lot of areas that are completely dry. What would have been nice is, for example, to modify the zone temporarily and tell the robot not to mow where it's completely burnt. Afterwards, it's still possible to do. You just have to make several mowing zones. I won't lie, I didn't find 1,000 disadvantages. Maybe also the fact that if you have a slope with a lot of dirt and not much grass, it will have trouble gripping, because if there was grass, it was still much better. So, can it replace a classic mower? The answer, I think it's possible. When we saw the power of the motors, if we don't wait too long in spring, we can make it do the first mow easily. After that, it's true that if you have a small mower on the side, thermal or electric, it can be handy if ever the robot breaks down, which can happen. My opinion on the Luba 2X. I find it still has a good value for money for a 4-wheel drive. What's interesting is that it's adapted to difficult gardens and also flat garden for a surface of up to 6,000 square meters. You also have the Luba Mini version for gardens under 1,500 square meters. All details will be in the description. Personally, having had the Luba 2 for over a year in my garden, I'm still happy with it. It hasn't broken down yet. We'll see in the future, because there's not that many years of hindsight either. We'll see after 2 to 3 years if they're still reliable. For now, I'm very satisfied. If you want to support my work, you have the link in the description. It's the same price for you. You can also get 50 euros off by signing up. Give me your opinion in the comments. Subscribe to support the translation of my videos. Don't forget the thumbs up, which helps me a lot. See you next time. See you.